be doing an April wrap-up. So April was a good reading month for me. I've read 5 books, which is my standard amount of books to read in a month. I completed all 4 of my owls, even though I technically had 3, but there was an extra thing, like a cinema thing, so I decided to challenge myself to do that, and I'm just really happy about what I've read in April. So let's get to the books that I've read in April. So the first book that I've read was technically not related to Alice Magical Readathon, but it was, I read Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I honestly, I've read this for an upcoming video, which I know I should have released it in April, but it's coming up in May this month, so be on the lookout for that. But, and from this book is about Daisy Jones and the Six from a band from the 70s, and then you find out what happened, why they broke up, and all that. I listened to the audiobook because I've heard many people enjoy the audiobook, seeing as it's told by interview, and I really love the audiobook. It almost sounded like a podcast, which I'm usually not that into, but for reading that, I'm like, I should listen to podcasts now. So I'm just really happy that I really enjoyed Daisy Jones and the Six, because I honestly I was a little nervous to read at first just because of all the hype, but usually a lot of hype books are usually hit or miss for me, but this one, oh my gosh, I love it so much, so I give it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I've read in April is Spinadon by Elizabeth Lynn, which is a Mulan retelling that tells a girl who is a daughter of a tailor who's gonna sign up for a competition to be the best tailor and kingdom for the emperor, but he couldn't, so Maya took her father's place to join the competition to make all kinds of dresses for royalty, and I really enjoyed this so much. I love the characters, and I really like the Mulan dynamics in the story, because I do enjoy Disney's Mulan, and I just really love this story so much, and I just so happy that I got to read this for Alice Magical Readathon, because the prompt was for magical creatures to read a book with a beak on the cover, and of course there's this bird right there, and I'm just been wanting to read this for a while, like since I got this from Owl Crate back in July, my birthday month, so I'm just so glad that I read this and really enjoyed it, so I give this 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I've read in April is Letters to the Lost by Bridget Cameron, which is the same author as A Curse Still Dark and Lonely, which tells a story about a girl who lost her mom, and she's been writing letters to her mom and putting it on the grave, and then one day the letter was replied, and the whole story goes from there. And this has been my TBR for so long, and I don't know why I hold off reading it, and I'm glad I did, because for Alice Magical Readathon is to read a contemporary for Muggle Studies, and I love this. I really enjoy this book so much. It really reminds me of You've Got Mail, the rom-com movies, and back in the 90s, and it's just really reminded me of that, and I love the characters and all how they like overcome the grief that they had, and I just love the story so much. And I just found out that there's a companion story to this, but it's told different characters, but they were like minor characters in this one, so I definitely want to pick that up, which I forgot what it's called, but I definitely want to read that, and I'm just glad that I picked this up, even though I waited so long to pick this up, and I give this 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I picked up in April is Haunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco, which is the sequel to Stalking Jack the Ripper, which is, if you haven't read the first book follows a girl named Audrey Rose who's studied to be, I don't know the exact words of the position that she wanted to, is a person who studies dead bodies, and she's been studying them under her with her uncle, who's been teaching her, and then there are murders going on, and then of course it involves with Jack the Ripper, and the whole story goes from there. And this follows their journey in Romania, and of course the murders involved with Dracula. So I I literally cried as I was reading this book because I miss Audrey Rhodes and Thomas so much. I just love those characters, and I really glad that I picked this up because I don't know why I was pulling off reading it. And plus, for the Alice Magical Readathon is to read a book outside my favorite genre, which is usually fantasy, and I don't pick up historical fiction often. And as for the arithmancy prompts for that, and I'm just so glad I did because I miss the characters so much, and I could not put it down because I love reading mysteries, even though it is classified as horror on the first two books that I've read. I do love the mystery aspects to it as well as the historical fiction, since it's a historical fiction. And of course, I give this 5 out of 5 stars, and I can't not wait to read the next book. So the last book that I've read in April is A Discovery, which is by Deborah Harkness, which follows a woman who is a witch, but she doesn't want to do anything to do with her witch heritage because she doesn't like witches. I'm trying to remember from what I've read, and then she runs into this vampire because there's an evil person that's after this ancient book that the witches had guarded for over the years. And this is my first adult fantasy book that I ever read. I really enjoy it. I do admit that the first 100 pages is a bit slow, but I do really like the story, and I don't know why. I really the vampire character Matthew, I do prefer him over Edward Cullen from Twilight. He's like more charming and not stalkerish like Edward. I don't know why. I do like the characters. I do like this story overall, and I give this 4 out of 5 stars, and I do want to continue on with the series. So that is all for the books that I've read in April. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and comment down below what you've read in April, just because I just wanted to know, and I'm really curious on like what books people are reading lately, just because I just love having a conversation with people talking about books in general. But let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button and click that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I post new videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And you can follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, which all links will be down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!